Hello everyone, munclesonkey here and welcome to my solo Dagannoth King's guide. So most people that are using this guide are probably trying to do a Slayer task solo at Dagannoth Kings, which is a really good thing to do because it's very good money, about 3 to 4 mil an hour solo depending on how many hatchet drops you get obviously, and also about 100 to 120k Slayer XP per hour depending on how fast you're killing them. So before we get started on actually showing you guys how to get to Dagannoth Kings and how to kill them, I'm going to be going over gear requirements and all, and what I'd really recommend that you need minimum to kill the Dagannoth Kings. So first of all, for stats, I would recommend you have to have at least 90 plus stats, 92 prayer for soul split, and 96 herblore for overloads is highly recommended. Also, it's nice to have a yak, however, if you just have a war tortoise, it is doable. You're just going to have to bring less supplies and your trips probably won't last as long. So for the actual equipment itself, I'd recommend a Slayer helm since you really should only be soloing Dagannoth Kings on Slayer task. However, if you want to go there off Slayer task or duo or something, just bring any helm that you want really. Any sort of cape, like a skill cape works pretty good. I'm wearing a defense master cape, has the exact same bonuses as a skill cape. You can also wear one of the Tokar cows, but I'd recommend a skill cape since you will be tri-birding here. Next to Dragon Rider Amulet or Amulet of Fury, Ascension Bolts. However, if you're only bringing Chaotic Crossbows or a Royal Crossbow, bring Royal Bolts. Next is a Chaotic Staff. You can also bring Dual Virtus or even Seismics if you have them. Static Gloves, these are really good because they're fairly cheap, only about 10 mil, and they provide very good defensive and life bonuses. 6-stage Circuit is nice because it's a very good tri-brid circuit. You can also bring like a Berserker Ring. I'd recommend to have the Penance Aura and also the Vampirism Aura in your inventory since you'll be using both of these on the trip. I just bring the side of item protection just in case I disconnect or something, but you don't need a Charming Imp because they don't drop charms. Friendly Sea Boots 4, these require the Elite Fermentic tasks. If you don't have these, just bring, I'd probably recommend one of the Glacier Boots. And next, Warpriest. You want to bring Warpriest because you will be tri-birding here, so you don't have to armor switch, which saves you a ton of inventory space and a ton of annoyance. So I would highly recommend bringing Warpriest. Next, in your inventory, you just want a melee and a range switch with your magic switch equipped, or vice versa. And then you want some food, extra yak, a vampirism aura, some winter storage scrolls for banking the hides, or if you don't have the frenetic sea boots, you'll be banking the bones with these. Some super restores. I would recommend to bring 3 flasks of overloads and renewals in your inventory, and runes for magic. And then in your yak, you want a whole bunch of food, a whole bunch of prayer, 3 more pack yak pouches, 3 more overloads and renewals, and this is enough for 3 hours, which should be enough to finish any kind of Slayer task that you have, no matter how long it is. So next, I'm just going to show the way how to get to Dagannoth Kings very sped up. So the cool thing about getting to Dagannoth Kings now is you do not need a second person, as it was due to a recent update. You can get into the lair all by yourself. You can just open the doors by yourself and destroy the door supports by yourself, which I think is personally one of the best updates that's come out of Jagex in quite a while, and I really love it. It's going to make solo Dagannoth Kinging much easier since you don't need another person to help you out, and sometimes other people to help you out were very annoying to find, and I think that turned a lot of people off of this boss. However, when I'm running here, unfortunately, I was not able to find myself a low population world that was free during the making of this video. But what you want to do is, while you are running to Dagannoth Kings, just before you enter the lair, you want to make sure you go somewhere that's safe without any Dagannoths around attacking you, and world hop until you find a free world without anyone in the Dagannoth King's lair with low population. And the reason why you want a low population world is because when you're soloing, sometimes it can be a little bit difficult even with high tier weapons to outkill the spawns, and you can only really do it on worlds with a chav about under 300 population. So in the video I show myself on a world with, I believe it had 900 population, but you want to find yourself one of those 100 to 200 population worlds. That'll make it a lot easier to kill the Dagannoth Kings without getting hit as much. If you've gotten yourself to the Dagannoth Kings and you're ready to enter the lair, make sure you go in with melee first and you overload before you go in, and you also want to set turmoil, protect item just in case something really terrible happens, and also protect from range when you first go down the ladder. And then when you go down, the first one that you want to focus on is Dagannoth Supreme. He is the one that is weakest to melee, and he's also the ranger style, so he will be doing range damage towards you. Now when you first enter the Dagannoth Kings, you will be taking the majority of the damage, and this will be by far the most difficult part of the fight when you first enter. Just realize that once you have the initial pattern down, you've killed your first 3 Dagannoth Kings, the rest of it is for the most part just going to be smooth sailing. So it only is a very, food consuming boss at the very start, and from then on you should be able to kill them fast enough that you can outkill their spawns and you'll be experiencing no problems at all. So you only really want to have turmoil on for the very start. You don't need it for the rest of your stay here. So the next time, next Dagannoth King you switch into is you kill Dagannoth Rex. So you pull out your mage gear and you just want to stun him and then protect from magic because the Dagannoth Prime will be attacking you. And then once he's stunned, you just use abilities on him. You can bring him down very quickly. Again, if you want to activate like your Vampirism aura or your Penance aura so you can heal a bit off of him or regain some prayer, that's a very good thing to do. Now normally you will be soul splitting on the Dagannoth Rex, but just since it's the first rotation now and the Dagannoth Prime is still on you, you do want to be praying mage for this part so you don't take too much damage. And as soon as the Rex is down, then you switch into your range switch and you pull out your crossbows and it's time to destroy the Dagannoth Prime. So with the Dagannoth Kings, I would not recommend using any ultimate abilities here, and the main reason before that is if you want to use an ultimate ability you can, but you have to use the ultimate ability on the exact same king every single time in the rotation, otherwise it messes up the rotation. So for simplicity's sake, and since you can kill them quickly enough that you don't have to deal more than one spawn without the ultimates for the most part, I wouldn't recommend even touching ultimates just because it can really mess up your rotation, and that's not a good thing. So overall, just make sure like you have a little bit of food in your inventory just in case something goes wrong, and then just move on to Dagannoth Supreme will spawn again after Dagannoth Prime. So it's really nice to have keybinds on your keyboard so you can switch between action bars with your keybinds. For example, I have the left bracket, the right bracket, and the key to the right of that all set as my three main action bars, so I can switch between them very easily without having to like go down here and select an action bar. So that's also a really good thing to do for Dagannoth Kings. And as you can see, all of my bones are being noted automatically as I have the Pharaonic Sea Boots, which is really nice. So that's about all for this guide. As long as you select a world with a low spawn rate, and also as long as you have overloads and good weapons, you should easily be able to stay there for long amounts of time. Also, if you're having any trouble killing the Dagannoth Kings quickly enough so that you can stay up with their spawns, one thing that you can do is you can turmoil switch. It is a little bit annoying, but you can just like pull your prayer book out, for example, and switch between turmoils as you kill the different Dagannoth Kings, and it'll help you kill them a little bit faster. However, you'll go through prayer a lot faster as well, so that means you'll have to bank more often, but it's not nearly as annoying to bank now that it doesn't require two people to get into the Dagannoth King's lair. But with that being said, that's all for the guide. Good luck, have fun making about 3 mil an hour on Slayer task at DK's, and farewell.